Welcome to episode 96 of the Lone Hockey Podcast. And today I want to talk about Jack Eichel from the Vegas Golden Knights. And yesterday and last night, he scored a terrific goal against St. Louis Blues, where I talked about in my newsletter today, my news release, where he started. So the rush sequence started. It was a quick up breakout, quick turnover. And so it started with Eichel sprinting the play. So he sprinted the inside lane. He was finding inside space. He got interior. And then what he was able to do on the entry scenario is he was able to utilize his speed to get behind both D1 and D2, specifically D2 Pareko on the track back was trying to get back but couldn't get back fast enough in a straight line. So Eichel gets behind everybody. Then what he does, he receives a pass from the other side of the ice. He catches it on one side of his body and further away from his body, and then he freezes Binnington. So by freezing Binnington, that opens up the backhand because if he were to shoot off his forehand, there wouldn't be any room to shoot. So he quickly maneuvered to his backhand and maintained puck protection so Pareko couldn't go stick on puck in terms of defense on him. Maneuvers to his backhand, scores an open net. Really nice goal, really nice sequence. I think what really stands out the most when talking about Eichel in Vegas is systematically speaking, his style fits their style so well. And Vegas is one of the best checking teams in the league. They're one of the most and one of the fastest teams in the league by far. In terms of the forecheck, in terms of the rush play, in terms of their transition offense, one of the fastest teams in the league at being able to do that. So it fits Eichel's style so seamlessly. And again, I talked about this in my article very briefly, but when looking at Eichel's play and how it's developed ever since his time in Buffalo, I would say the biggest thing that's really developed is his speed and how he's able to weaponize his speed in Vegas now because his ability to utilize that really allows him to transform his offensive ability off the rush. And in Buffalo, sometimes you notice him, he would have to delay a little bit more because Buffalo wasn't as prominent of a checking team. They weren't as prominent with their speed. And so Eichel would sometimes have to delay in the neutral zone, delay on entry scenarios and he's a fast tempo style player, so he likes to play fast. So it didn't necessarily correlate to the best of his ability. So with Vegas now, it's no surprise why he's been playing his best hockey in Vegas because not only has he come back from the surgery healthy, but at the same time, you look at his game and how his speed has really evolved. And I really believe, and I truly believe that the speed factor has been a major driving force in how he's been able to create offense. He's become a much more dynamic center as a result of that because you can play him on the wing or you can play him at center, but you want him as a center. You want him to be able to use his playmaking and his shot threat and his speed and the tempo that he has within his game. And the other thing is, in terms of power skating mechanics, Eichel stands out as one of the best players in the league in terms of skating and mechanical foundation within his edge work and his crossovers. And so when you have a player like that whose ability to change gears is so effortless, it's really hard for him to really delay sequences and to try and slow down because naturally he has mechanical foundations within his skating that propel him to go fast. He wants to go fast. So now you have him in Vegas where he's playing with a lot of speedy wingers, and he's playing with a lot more speedy defensemen, a lot more defensemen involved in the rush. And so he can play off his toes a little bit more. He can play and utilize those power skating elements a little bit more and with more ease because sometimes I've even noticed he's behind the play and he can get up in the rush so fast because of those skating mechanics and his straight line speed. Very underrated player when it comes to straight line speed as well. That's a whole nother subject. But with Eichel, you're looking at a player who has depth in his feet, he has depth in his crossovers, depth in his edge work, depth in how he attacks with his feet. There's a lot of versatility in terms of skating mechanics that really allow him to be a dynamic offensive player. And you saw that in that rush goal yesterday, where he uses feet, he uses straight line speed, and he was able to get behind everybody. And those, it's as simple as that. It's a couple simple things, simple mechanical foundations that really allowed him to improve and be able to score that goal yesterday. It was a really nice goal, really nice sequence. And like I said before, arguably one of the best of the 24-25 NHL season so far. And so Eichel's going to be an interesting player to watch out the season. I really want to see him get to a point where he eclipses 110 points, if not more, in Vegas, because I believe that he has more potential in his game that he hasn't unlocked yet in Vegas, not only from a point scoring perspective, but a general overall offensive ability. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at some point if he can hit upwards of 50, 60 goals. And to me, that doesn't sound crazy because his style of play fits so well with Vegas. He has tempo, he has speed, he has a lot of attributes that gel with their system and that defenders aren't able to easily match. And like I said before, Vegas is one of the best checking teams in the league. I would argue Carolina is the best and most disciplined checking team in the league, but Vegas is right up there. They have to be in the top three, top four, right around that range because they play so fast, so quick. They're quick to close and they're quick with their F1 and F2s. And so when you have that prominent of a checking team, you're going to create turnovers a little bit more effortlessly than other teams. So how this relates back to Eichel is Eichel is able to utilize that speed and really weaponize that speed, not only as a forechecker, but in all scenarios. So that way he can really utilize the full foundation within his game as well.